This is Inside the Griffins. Welcome everybody to the first episode of Inside the Griffins. I'm your host Rob Morrison, the running back coach here at Seton Hill University. Inside the Griffins is a program designed to take an inside look at the football program that you guys see on the field every Saturday in the fall. We're going to take a look at coaches' interviews, some behind-the-scenes recruiting videos, and some behind-the-scenes practice film once we get into the season here coming up in the fall. Today, my first guest, I'm proud to announce, is the new head coach of the Seton Hill Griffins, Coach Isaac Collins. Coach Collins, thanks for joining me today.
Appreciate you having me.
Coach, first of all, congratulations being named the head coach here at Seton Hill University.
Well, obviously, it was a tremendous opportunity. I think anytime you have to transition and leave a program that you kind of built and leave young men that you recruited, it's difficult, but certainly was very excited about this opportunity.
Perfect. Now, Coach, this is now your second head coaching position. Started last year at Widener with your first one. Can you give us a little background as to other stops you made along the way?
Well, I've been pretty fortunate. I got into coaching right out of college. My first job was at Hobart College in upstate New York. From Hobart, went to Columbia University in the Ivy Leagues. So got to spend some time in New York City, which was a tremendous experience. From Columbia to Lehigh University, had an opportunity to work for two great head football coaches there and learn a ton. We were able to win a bunch of games. Became very familiar with Pennsylvania football, which is obviously a major plus for this job. From Lehigh, I went to Holy Cross, spent some time in New England, and being a part of that historic university and their football program, which was another great learning experience. From Holy Cross to the University of Delaware, which the name kind of speaks for itself, tremendous tradition football-wise, national championship, so it was great to be part of that culture and a part of that environment. From the University of Delaware to the Citadel, which was a little bit different because the first time I left the Northeast to coach, but was able to spend some great time in the South and develop some ties that certainly will help us in recruiting. But being a part of a military college was also special as well in terms of being able to get a up-close look at how the Armed Forces does it from a discipline and structure standpoint. So that was a tremendous experience, and then obviously from the Citadel to Widener, which was a great run for 3 years, building that program and getting it back to the top of Division III, and certainly was sad to leave, but was very, very excited about moving on to Seton Hill.
We're excited to have you here, Coach, and you talked a little bit about the experience you gained and your different stops along the way. Everybody here is excited about that winning attitude that you have, bringing from Widener. Coach, first question I have for you is, what attracted you to Seton Hill, and what, when you came on your interview, you looked at and said, we can win there, I can get this program successful again?
I think any time as a head football coach or just a coach in general, it starts at the top. I felt like when I came on my interview, I felt the administration was excited about the opportunity that we had here going into a new conference, being able to take a relatively young football program, only 8 years old, into a historic conference like the PSAC. I felt like it was an opportunity that was well supported, and they were excited about the possibilities. And I think the biggest thing for me in taking the job was just I felt the ceiling was really high here. I think there's so many things that we'll be able to accomplish going forward, not just in recruiting, not just in wins on the football field, but in terms of the type of program that we can build here. Being a part of a private Catholic university and being able to recruit nationally. When you look at a lot of the private Catholic universities all over the country, they get young men from all over the place. So that was some things that had me very, very excited in terms of the type of roster I felt we would be able to build here over time. And obviously being in a great conference where week in and week out you're going to have to be at your best is something that as a football coach you certainly look forward to.
Right. Now I'm sure getting here in January with the new staff and getting your staff together and academics and feeling out your roster, it's been a crazy 4 or 5 months for you. Can you touch a little bit on the recruiting process that your staff had to go through getting here in January and signing day coming so quickly right after there. Kind of talk about your class and how you feel you guys did recruiting and the guys you got coming in.
Well, I think the biggest challenge is always trying to get yourself organized, figure out what guys are going to fit your needs. And I think that one of the things that put us at a little bit of a disadvantage is I think the PSAC schools did a really good job out here in Western PA. A lot of the kids that we were really excited about had already committed to several other PSAC schools. So we had to kind of utilize what we're blessed with here, and I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier about being a private Catholic university and being able to recruit nationally. So we spread our wings a little bit. We got into Michigan, we got into Florida. We were able to kind of draw kids that I think will give us a chance in time to be competitive. But I also think that we kind of established for ourselves the ability to know that we're going to be able to find young men that want to be a part of the Seton Hill experience. And I think that's the biggest challenge when you're a new staff is where's your niche going to be? I'm looking forward to kind of getting into some battles in the coming years, for some Western PA kids. But it's nice to know that we could go to Maryland, we could go to Virginia, we could go to some outlying areas and find young men that can help us be successful here. So recruiting wise, I think it's you never know for a couple of years. So I don't want to sit and say this is the best class we'll recruit here. But I can tell you it's filled with young men that we're excited about, young men that I think are going to be passionate about the education that they're going to receive here, going to be passionate about the challenges that we're going to face going into the PSAC, and I think they're going to be excited about making history. I think anytime you have an opportunity to come in to a program that has a limited tradition, when you're only 8 years old, you don't have rivalry games, you don't have all those things that a lot of other football programs have. So I think the neat thing for us is the young men that are coming into our program now will have an opportunity to establish those things. And I think there's something exciting when you're a young player coming out of high school to be able to look back and say that I was a part of history. And that's really kind of what we're looking forward to going forward.
Well, and again, in your short time here, and again being here in January, have you seen facility changes? I know we're trying to get some improvements across campus and football-wise. Kind of can you touch on the improvements we have with the new staff going on around campus with facilities?
Well, I think the first big step for us is obviously kind of getting our weight room up to speed in terms of being able to train our football team and really kind of help all the sports in the athletic department. So we did some restructuring in the weight room. We have some new equipment that will be delivered here in July, so we're really excited about that. So it should be here right about the time that some of the upperclassmen will be coming back to do their internships and to start training on campus. So to me, that was kind of the first big step. We did some painting down there, so aesthetically it's beginning to look very nice and present a professional look, which is important to us and important to the university. So I think over the course of time, we're going to be able to kind of build the things that are necessary for us to be successful in the long haul. It's as I tell our players, it is truly a marathon, not a sprint. So we have some things that we got to get addressed facility-wise, but we have more than enough to start this thing and to start to build something pretty successful. And I think we're excited about the future of the facilities. And I talked about the ceiling being really high. I think that there's a lot of growth potential here going forward on things that we'll be able to get in place and build that a lot of other universities might not be able to because they just don't have the space or the resources. So definitely excited, looking forward to that plan and the vision of our administration and our athletic director in terms of facilities down the road that we'll be able to build and put us in a position to be one of the elite teams at the Division II level.
Okay. And now we just wrapped up spring ball here, and for those that don't know, college football, you're allowed 15 practices in the spring each year. And how is it watching the players and young men get out there and actually run around after having them in the gym for 4 or 5 weeks in winter conditioning? How is it to get on the field, install your defensive and offensive philosophies, and watch them run around and do some football activities?
I think it was it was really important to us as a staff to begin to kind of get a beat on what we got in the cupboard. I mean, I think that recruiting's great, but it's the unknown. You don't know how the young men coming in are going to adjust to being in college or being at Seton Hill, or adjust to going into a challenging conference. So for us, our foundation really starts with the young men that are already on campus. So it was good for us to be able to kind of start that evaluation process of what we can and can't do. I think the unique thing about what we do schematically, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise is we adjust to what we have. And I think that during the course of the spring, it gave us a pretty good idea of some things that we're going to have to tweak in the fall to give our young men an opportunity to be successful. We won't change the core of who we are because that's what you're building towards, but there'll be some subtle things that we'll have to do on both sides of the ball to help our current student athletes have some success, as well as open the door for the guys that we recruited coming in our first recruiting class. So it was definitely important. It was fun. It was good to be out of the office, and being able to be around our players in that type of environment and watching them run around and go through the element changes. The first practice, being 12 degrees out there, a guy getting frostbitten it to the 78 degree weather that it was at the spring game. So all things that I think are important for us to go through as a football program, because no matter how you slice it, if you want to be in it at the end and playing for a national title, you're going to have to play in all those elements. So to me, I think it's important that we practice in it and we get used to it. It becomes a part of our culture and who we are, so that if we're blessed with the opportunity to go and play for a national title, we don't want the weather to ever be a factor. We want to be able to do what we do. So certainly was excited to see the guys get out there and move around a little bit.
Yeah, it was interesting going from 20 to sunny, and by the end it was a different seasons. But how are the players picking up the systems? You get the unique view of being the head coach and seeing the three systems go in more than the coordinators would. How overall has the team picked up the transition to the new style of play that you're bringing in here?
I think they've done a good job. I think we were kind of smart that we limited. We didn't throw everything at them. We kind of eased them into it, a little bit of spoon feeding, as they say. So I think overall, I think the guys have a little bit of an idea. I think the biggest challenge for them come training camp is just the pace that we want to practice at. I think schematically they began to kind of understand by the end of spring what we were trying to do. Some things we certainly come out of spring game saying we got to get cleaned up, but certainly the pace and the tempo in the fall from the way that we're going to practice going forward will be a big challenge for the guys. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them come back and in great shape, and then being able to kind of practice at the level we need to practice at to be successful. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think the schemes and stuff, like I said, we adjust to our players, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. It's just going to be a matter of them being able to understand the pace that we want to practice at, and how fast we want to go on offense, and how fast we want to play on defense, and the consistency we want to see in the kicking game. So 15 practices, difficult to kind of put a parameter on it, but looking forward to the 20 plus practices we get for training camp to get them ready for the first game. So we'll have a little bit better handle, I think, at the end of training camp of where we're truly at. But certainly the intro part, I thought the intent and the willingness was there. Now we just got to fine tune some things here when we get into training camp.
Now, I'll touch on that with training camp and looking forward to the 2013 season coming up here. It'll be the inaugural season for Seton Hill playing in the PSAC, moving in from the WIVIAC. There's just a buzz around campus, walking around, talking to the faculty and the students about the new staff, the new program, new conference, a lot of the new about the program. Can you talk a little bit about what game day atmosphere will be here on campus, even though off the field is downtown? It's a great location down in downtown Greensburg. What is the atmosphere around campus going to be prior to the games on Saturday?
Well, I think our mission is simple. We've had a few meetings with different groups on campus and different offices, really trying to tie the whole community in. I kind of summed it up with, I want our game day to be a combination of, a family reunion and homecoming. We want the excitement, of Saturdays to be something that folks are coming from all over the place to come back to visit, and then the current students are looking forward to it. I think for us, our ability to be able to create kind of an exciting day, will help us in the challenges that we face with a very, very difficult schedule that we have, especially at home this first season. The more that we can get our student body and our faculty and our fans involved, it can be a neutralizer. I think that I want us to create a culture. We're going to start the Griffin Walk. We're working on getting the band and the cheerleaders and all the different student organizations on campus involved, so that they're excited. And then not only just the excitement on campus in terms of the little things we want to do with our alumni, but getting them down to Offutt and turning that stadium into a venue that visiting teams don't want to come and play. I still remember from my interview sitting down with Dr. Boyle and having her talk about wanting to create an environment and build a football team that when folks comes to Greensburg and they drive down into that stadium in downtown, and they're dreading having to play against us. So that's what we're hoping for, and that's what we're building. We know that it's year one. We know that we got a lot of work to do both on and off the field. But I think if we can start to create that culture and start to create some new traditions that hopefully will build over time, we'll be able to one day have that type of environment where it literally is like a family reunion. You can't wait to see the folks at the game and certainly watching our alumni come back and seeing how this thing grows. So a lot of excitement around it. I've been very, very pleased with the support and the ideas that have come forth. So definitely looking forward to seeing how this whole thing unfolds. I mean, obviously we got training camp and some things to do before we get to that first home game, but I'm definitely looking forward to the ideas really coming to life here at the opening game against East Frostburg.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for being my first of many guests here on Inside the Griffins. And for all the fans out there, the Griffins will open the season on the road at Fairmont State September 5th at 7 p.m. But as Coach talked about, our first home game will be September 14th under the lights here against East Stroudsburg at 6 p.m. Please make sure to put that down on your calendar. Make sure you all get down to Offutt to cheer on the new Griffins. And remember, you can follow all your coaches from Seton Hill Football on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow Coach Collins on Twitter at Isaac_Collins and on Facebook at Isaac Collins. Thank you all for watching. We look forward to seeing you on future episodes of Inside the Griffins.